Thank you very much for staying. Let's move on to the very first story here on the marketplace. And ratings agency Moodys is warning of some challenging times for commercial banks in the country this year in terms of decline in revenue. This warning was captured in the latest report released by the ratings agency on the banking sector in Ghana. The following report captures some of the issues in the report.
Moodys in the report said revenue and profits of banks in the country would be impacted badly this year because of the slowdown in interest on loan growth as well as interest on other income-related businesses of the banks. The report showed that this is the first time loans have gone up by almost 6% compared to more than 40% in 2014. The ratings agency also expects some significant increase in loans that banks fear may go bad, a development that could impact badly on interest rates charged by commercial banks, which the Bank of Ghana puts at around 26% on the average.
Turning our attention now to the oil and gas sector, government is likely to start hedging the country's oil imports under a new risk management strategy. The Reuters news agency in its report quotes the finance ministry as the source of this move. Once again, there's a more report in this report.
According to the Reuters news agency, the move is to help keep government's program of matching its revenue with expenditure in check as crude oil prices on the international market continues to increase. It is currently trading at around $65 a ton. Reuters, for instance, quotes sources close to the finance ministry are saying government is working on a comprehensive oil risk management strategy to ensure they remain on track. Buying some call options is most likely, giving strong indication that it is to hedge using futures contracts. Some analysts believe the holder of the call option has the discretion to assume a long position in crude futures at a strike price. Hedging has been described by some as a strategy used to limit the risk that volatilities in crude prices may pose to an economy or company. Now, depending on the option that is used, some have described it as an insurance program that would immune one from the expected shocks. Others have also described as a gamble and expensive venture. Government last year spent $12.6 billion to finance oil imports, down by $3 million from what it spent in 2016.
Now, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has been speaking about the halt in production at the Tema Oil Refinery on the 18th of January this year. The shutdown, which was earlier reported by the Institute of Energy Security (IES), attributed it to the persisting leadership crisis at the State Oil Refinery. In an interview, the Finance Minister debunked any leadership crisis and said the incident, which took out about 20,000 barrels, has been resolved. He noted the government was keen to position Ghana as a petroleum hub on the continent.
As you know, TOR was to do 45,000 barrels per day. There was an unfortunate incident which took out about some 20,000 barrels, but that is being restored. So we expect, TOR to be back in good operation form. We are even thinking of improving that to maybe 60,000 barrels, so that work is being thought through. And then also there was a trip to Asia to look at Ghana as a petroleum hub, and so that's been assessed. So I think for us, how to position the country as a hub in many things is being thought of. So these may be issues have occurred, but I'm comfortable. I met with the board actually yesterday to give them further support. But I think the leadership is really good, and I'm looking forward to Mr. Osei running this company very well.
Any strategic investor on board to help with the situation?
Well, Ghana Beyond Aid subscribes us to be quite dependent on our skill set. I think when we need them, they will come. But I think if you go to TOR and speak to the leadership, you'll be very comfortable with the expertise that we have.
All right, so that was the finance minister debunking the assertion that what happened at TOR recently was only an operational challenge, and that has nothing to do with the leadership crisis in that facility or on the premises. Now, let's put all this into perspective and get the thoughts of an energy expert. He's in the person of Ishmael Ejekumehene. Want to know exactly what way Tor should go, and of course, if indeed it's time for government to take its hands off totally the state oil refiner. And Ishmael, if you can hear me, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace.
Good afternoon.
All right, so I believe you are privy to the recent information which happened or which led to the halt in production of Tor. And now the Institute of Energy Security is attributing this particular development to leadership crisis at Tor. But you and I know that over the years, Tor has undergone persistent challenges. And even after 9 months of a maintenance shutdown, we did not expect anything untoward to happen to the facility until this thing happened. In your own opinion, what is the problem with Tor?
Well, I don't know whether we're talking about the current problem, which I think is purely a technical problem after 9 months of a turnaround maintenance. One would expect that once that is done, the machines and the equipment we have there shouldn't be going through what we are experiencing right now. So I wouldn't even put it to management or leadership challenges. I think
Hello, Ishmael.
Yeah, George, Emmanuel, can you hear me?
All right, it's clear now.
Okay, so I mean, after 10 months of a shutdown for the turnaround maintenance, I was surprised that there was this forced shutdown. I understand there's been some breach of some of the standard procedures that led to the shutdown. So I would say that let's ask the engineers as to what exactly happened. But this shutdown, we're told that they were going to run for at least 40 days, just about 942,000 barrels of crude oil.
And
So this shutdown actually was a big surprise to everybody.
Now, I really want us to set aside the technical challenges and to really look at what exactly is the problem with Tor. Could it be financial? Because we've seen a situation where the country has persistently or is continuing paying the Tor debt recovery levy to as a matter of in a way to help solve the crisis in that sector. Now, what exactly is it? A problem of financing, or exactly what is happening to Tor?
Well, I think it's a combination of factors. I mean, certainly finance is a big issue because I'm sure you know Tor itself is, if it were to be a private limited liability company, it probably would have gone bankrupt by now. We are clearing debt, like you said, you and I are doing that. And I wouldn't be surprised that the 942,000 barrels that they just took delivery of and they are processing probably came through support from government to get the company up and running. So finance is a key issue. I mean, I've heard people talking about the fact that we should send the Jubilee crude to Tor, but even if we decide to give them all the crude, those barrels will have to be paid for. Finance is an issue, and we're also talking about a refinery that is quite old. We've been told that the turnaround maintenance has restored it to near new, and it's probably in a state that we can be sure that it's going to go for another couple of years. But I'm not sure it's going to be as efficient as all the ultra-modern refineries. But where they are is this debt issue that they are not liquid. They wouldn't be able to, on their own books, bring in crude at this stage. They probably would need support from government for them to be able to come back on its feet. But I don't expect them to be having the same challenges if they were able to be producing refined product, because now, following the deregulation, I expect that there will be no issue of under recovery, and they should be able to do business if they were able to they are properly capitalized and be able to process their products and be able to put them out
Now, I want to know this. Internationally, what is the best practice? Do you have state refineries being placed under, for instance, the National Oil Company, or you have it privatized, step aside from the grips of government?
I think it depends on the particular country, but most refineries are privately owned. But now, until we let go Tor, it's still a state entity. Let's see how we can make it work. If divestiture is the way forward, let's consider that. But at the moment, I think we should focus on getting it operational. My main concern is that if it's not efficient, then pumping more money into it wouldn't serve anybody's purpose. I think the main motivating factor why everybody will want Tor to continue to exist is the job opportunities that it also affords. But in terms of best practice, I think most refineries in the States, for example, in Rotterdam, are privately owned and they are not state owned.
All right, don't go away yet. I'll come back to you because I have on the line, Richmond Roxon, also of the Institute of Energy Security, and the IES first broke the story of Tor's crude distillation unit halting on the 28th of January and called the Ministry of Energy and Government to pay special attention to the country's oil refinery by addressing the leadership crisis. Now, Richmond, if you can hear me, what exactly or what is the source of your assertion?
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to Dr. Ishmael, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers as well. We are worried about the state of the refinery. A year ago, around the same period, we were having a conversation about the refinery because the furnace, that is F61, had broken down, and we had warned managers of the refinery that we're going to have challenges with getting the refinery back to work. If you remember, we had virtually the same reactions that we are getting today from the PRO of the refinery. Unfortunately for us, the refinery did not work for almost a year. The refinery only came back to stream on 2nd of January 2018 from 26th of January 2017. A turnaround maintenance that was supposed to take 3 months took 9 months, and we still insist that it took 9 months because of poor planning. Because if we had planned critically, only where we are. Last year in 2017.
But Richmond, before you continue, don't you think that in the words of the PRO or in the words of officials of Tor, that major maintenance work was very much needed because the facility had not undergone such a maintenance experience for a long time?
No, we don't think so. We don't think so. If the managers of the refinery will be bold and they'll be truthful enough to come out to tell you exactly what caused the delay, you will know clearly that was basically because of poor maintenance. That because we didn't plan carefully before we started the turnaround maintenance, that is why we have these challenges. And for us, it is important that once the refinery comes back on stream, the refinery will work diligently because the thermal oil refinery has capacity and also has a viable market in West Africa. In Ghana alone, we consume about 9 million liters daily, and the refinery is not even able to meet our daily consumption. What this means is that the refinery has very good market. Easily, it can be a hub where other countries or other institutions will even bring crude oil to the refinery to be refined into other finished products where we'll make some good money. So we are really concerned about the state of the refinery because if you come back on 2nd of January 2018 and 2 weeks after, that is 18th of January 2018, you have the refinery shutting down because of the residue air cooler EA64 tubes, which forced the shutdown on the plant. Or if you start the refinery after a turnaround maintenance, definitely you should have a pre-turnaround maintenance report and a post-turnaround maintenance report. If you don't do this and you start the refinery, you start the plant, then right after you start, you realize that there's a leakage in the stabilizer reboiler, that is heat exchanger E19, forcing the crude distillation unit to shut down. Then this will be concerns that all of us as industry players should be worried, and we should be able to demand from the managers why these things are happening and call the Ministry for Energy.
All right, now that brings me to my next question. Why are you alluding this to the leadership crisis at all?
We have been to the refinery. In fact, just last week, Thursday, we were at the refinery. We've done our own check. Last year, like I mentioned, we had a furnace breaking down. We've had the maintenance work extend to time that we wasn't supposed to extend. So had, at the end of the day, a rupturing of the air cooler tubes. We've had leakage detected in the stabilizer reboiler. And all these things are basically managerial issues. If you have technical operational lapses, these are managerial issues. We know for a fact, as we speak, that there was no pre-turnaround and post-turnaround test to be able to ascertain the integrity of the machines or the equipment that have been installed to get optimum, to have it at optimum capacity before the refinery was started. And we are just asking that these things cannot continue to go on, because if this thing continues, the refinery will not be able to work efficiently, and we'll always have to be spending on the refinery. To start the refinery, to start the CDU, you need money to start it. You need between $65,000 to $100,000 to start. To start the RSCC, you need around $200,000 to $350,000, depending on the kind of start, whether it's a cold start or regular start that you're having. And we are saying that if management will step up and management will pay attention to the processes, the operations of Tema Oil Refinery, we won't come back having these issues over and over again.
All right. Thank you very much. Don't go away. I'll come back to you for your final words. But let me go again to the Executive Director of KIDE, Ishmael Ejokumihene. And Ishmael, I just want to know, if we are to go the private way, under what kind of arrangement should that be? Is it an entire takeover by the private sector or a PPP arrangement?
Well, I'm not even too sure whether the private sector will be about talk, unless we're going to take over all the liabilities and stuff like that. But I think there are various models that could be looked at if we decide to. I think we can start off with a PPP, and then later on subsequently see if we want, as a government, want to even remain in that space or not. But let me just to say a little about what the Dr. Robinson said. You know, if there is, I think it's a technical issue that people overlook certain things. I will call for a full investigation, because look, this is costing the state money. Let's find out exactly why there's a forced shutdown, who is to blame, and then before we start looking at the leadership, I can assure you, are not technical people. They are just managers, and they always defer to the technical people. Let's find out why, because after 9 months, like I said from the beginning, this is not acceptable. And all the costs associated, even the shutdown, this thing has to stop once and for all. So let's investigate, and if they are corporate, or if it's the same people, if the people who came in and do the turnaround maintenance are the corporate, let's make sure that some people are held accountable. But at this stage, I wouldn't put the blame so much on management. But going forward, I think we need a brand new refinery. If you should ask me, we need a brand new refinery. And I think regardless of all the maintenance, TOR appears to, I'm hesitant to say that it appears to be running out of its useful purpose. But
so you think that we should have a new establishment, a new installation?
Ultimately, so if we want to capture the West African market that Dr. Roxon is talking about, I mean, the refinery's capacity cannot even meet Ghana's daily demand. You see, so we can't be looking at the West African market if we cannot even, assuming they were able to produce 24 hours a day. We still, if we target in the ECOWAS market, we should be looking at something bigger than what we have now. And look, it doesn't matter how you polish an old car, is still an old car.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ishmael, for those thoughts of yours. I'm very grateful for that. Now, beg your pardon, Richmond, what are your final words?
My final words are pretty brief, that the posture of the public relations officer of the refinery appears to be one that looks like the Institute for Energy Security is fighting Tema Oil Refinery. We are not fighting the refinery. We are a friend of the refinery. What we want and what we need is a very robust refinery, a very efficient and effective refinery. In January, when the refinery came back on stream, we commended the management and as well as the workers, and said that even though it had delayed unduly, we are grateful that it has come back on stream, because it's important that we have some oil refinery working. But where you've had, we've made losses, where we've had naphtha mixed with LPG, where we are supposed to make about 40 metric tons a day of LPG, and we've made these losses because the CBU failed to stabilize. We don't think that these are issues that must be swept under the carpet. Within a week, we lost around 280,000 liters of LPG. Multiply it by the liter that is sold on the market now, that's around 5 Ghana cedis. And you see the money that we've lost. So we are just calling on investigations. We are calling on the ministry responsible for energy to come in once again and hope that once and for all we will sort the issues at Tema Oil Refinery. All
right, thank you so much, Richmond Roxon. And Richmond Roxon is the principal researcher of the Institute of Energy Security. That is an energy think tank which first broke the news that the Tema Oil Refinery went a halt in production on the 18th of January following a shutdown. I've also been siphoning the views of Ishmael Ejokumehini, another energy expert, on the way forward for the state refiner. Let's now get some highlights of the tour's activities. Let's now move upstream in the petroleum industry still, and the first of planned shutdowns of the FPSO Kwame Nkrumah on the Jubilee field is expected to begin on Thursday, February 1. These planned shutdowns are expected to make way for operators on the field to embark on a general maintenance exercise on the vessel. The Ghana National Petroleum Commission, GNPC, announced this at a dissemination workshop in Accra and noted that the FPSO will resume full work on the 21st of February. The second shutdown will follow on the 19th of March, with the last shutdown expected in November. The Jubilee partners are, however, assuring there may not be any shutdown in 2019 if all programs carried out successfully or are carried out successfully on the FPSO. Dr. Joseph Asensu is the head of Petroleum Unit at the Ministry of Finance.
The Petroleum Revenue Management Act requires the Ministry of Finance to disseminate information with regards to petroleum receipts and expenditure. What we've done over the years has been to publish and to submit same to Parliament every year together with the budget. This year we decided to take it a step further by engaging with stakeholders, including the media, so that we explain to them issues that are agitating their minds and also help clarify things that they may need clarification to. So that's the whole basis of the workshop.
Among the major issues that came up here has to do with the shutdown of the FPSO. What are some of the remedies put in place to ensure that we are not affected heavily by the shutdowns?
In 2017, we were very much aware of the pending shutdown. So all these projections were factored in when we were doing the GDP projections and the petroleum revenue projections as well. We anticipated a period of 10 weeks of shutdown. However, the shutdown was deferred to this year. That is why you would realize, partly because of this, GDP has gone beyond what we actually projected in 2017. Petroleum revenues also did much better than we had projected in the same year. This year, we are...
And away from oil and gas, the U.S. ambassador to Ghana, Robert Jackson, has announced that the U.S. government is investing $498 million in the Second Millennium Compact to transform the power sector. $66 million of that amount will be invested in the Northern Electricity Company, NEDCO, to make it efficient and self-sustaining. The move, according to the U.S. ambassador, is to create the enabling environment for businesses to thrive. Ambassador Jackson was speaking at the University for Development Studies in Wa.
American ambassador to Ghana, Robert P. Jackson, has been touring the three regions of the North, interacting with duty bearers, traditional rulers, members of civil society groups, and students. As part of the tour, he delivered a speech at the Wa campus of the University for Development Studies, which centered on Ghana-United States relationship and scholarship opportunities for the students. Ambassador Robert P. Jackson said the U.S. government will partner with the government of Ghana to help create the enabling environment for businesses to thrive. One area the U.S. government will focus on will be to build a strong and efficient power sector.
Unreliable and inadequate power stifles economic growth. In fact, economic research shows that Ghana's economy lost more than $24 billion between 2010 and 2016 as a result of doomsor. If your business can't operate due to a lack of electricity, you can't make a profit. If you have no profit, it's the end of your business, and it's the end of your employees' incomes as well. With the second Millennium Challenge.
And on that note, we wrap up this afternoon's edition of The Marketplace. It's been a great pleasure having you on board, and I hope you did enjoy every aspect of it. Let's meet up again, same time tomorrow. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Riafi. Have a good afternoon.